Oh, and by the way, the tape didn't hold on my door. My door fell off last night, so hopefully everything's good there. Hi everybody, and welcome to the channel about kit cars and other car topics. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe and notification buttons below. So today it is about the Factory 533 Hot Rod doing inventory. It's going to take multiple days. It's going to take a lot of time to do it. I'll give you a wrap up at the end of the video of what it actually took. I'm also going to do some time lapse, and then we're going to do some commentary and some time lapse. So definitely check out the whole video to see what's going on. And like I said, I'll give you a wrap up at the end, kind of give you an idea of how long it took for me to do inventory. So, inventory is one of the most important things to do on the build, especially since you have a few days to make sure that you have everything. If something's missing, you can get it replaced. You only have 45 days to kind of let them know that something's missing so they can replace it for you. And so I'm actually going through and being very thorough with stuff. In fact, if I get a bag of bolts and it says, you know, here's this part number for this bag of bolts, it is all individually laid out, and I'm going through every nut and bolt. I mean, it's a full list of like 32 to 40 list, and then there's multiples per list. It's a lot of stuff. I got somewhere around 36 boxes. I think 2 are back ordered right now. I don't remember what those boxes are. But you could get a box where there's one thing in it, like this, and then you get a box that has 2 pages worth full of stuff. And for the most part, so far I've gone through all these bags of parts and bolts and nuts and washers and all this stuff. There's only been 2 bags where I'm just like, I'm just going to assume it's good, because there was so much stuff in there, and honestly I don't know the names of all the parts in there to even figure it out. But I've probably gone through 20 or 30 bags of bolts and parts and stuff explicitly through every detail. There's only been 2 where I'm like, we'll call that one good. But this is day 3 for me right now. I'm actually been going every morning and every night. Now in the mornings, it is 82 degrees in my garage. And when I come home in the afternoon and work on this till like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, it's 100 degrees in here. So it's a little bit of a sweat factory. It's pretty crazy in here. So, but it's going really well. And I got 2 more boxes. I almost did them last night, but they were so full and like a page and a half worth of stuff that I'm like, you know what? I need some mental clarity when I do these. And so this should be the last morning that I'm doing this. It's 6 o'clock in the morning right now, and I've been doing this stuff in between, going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up these 2 boxes, and at the end of the video, I will let you know how much time it took for one person to go through all these boxes. That way you have an idea. A lot of people say 4 hours, but we'll see. From pulling the stuff out of the truck, which I did get a lot of help from the driver, because I can't lift everything that's super heavy due to some injuries, but you lift them off the truck, you put them on the cart. You take them off the cart, you put them in the garage. You shift them around in the garage. Now I'm bringing them all the way up to the table, doing inventory, and then I'm trying to figure out where to put them. So for instance, if it's, let's say, the carpet or some kind of finished piece for the car, I'm putting that deep in the house because I'm not going to see that for 6 months or a year. If it's something like a front end suspension, it's right next to the car because that's the next thing that I'm doing. So I'm kind of distributing it. I wish I had a garage big enough to just have it all right here, but I don't. So I'm kind of distributing parts, like fenders. I'm not going to need the fenders for 6 months, so they're in a closet somewhere. So I'm kind of doing like a Lean Technologies spread of parts. If you use it soon or all the time, put it close to you, and if you don't, put it as far away as it's going to be. So I still got a lot of boxes like these that are all, going into the house and into some closet somewhere. And they are all numbered and labeled. So what happens is when you get a box, it will say, like this one says 14. And then you look at sheet number 14 and it says, in this box is this. And then you go through the list and check it all off. So they've done it really well. It's a pretty thorough process. And, because of that, I'll be able to know what every box is. And, they kind of explicitly state that when you go through the inventory of a box, put everything back in that same box before you move on, because we have a sheet that tells you, a map that tells you where all this stuff is. And if you start moving it around now or pulling it out and putting it on the shelves, you're not going to know what it is. You don't know, you just don't know. But if you know it's in this box, then you got it down to anywhere between 1 to 40 parts, and you'll be able to figure out what that is. And for the most part, that's even been true during inventory. There's some times where I'm going, geez, I don't know what this is actually called, but there's 10 of these, 6 of these, and 4 of these, and I know that, well, there's 10 of these, it must be that, and so there's a few of those situations going on, but as time will go on, I'll understand a little bit more what some of these things are. So anyways, let's get these last few boxes done, and we'll do a recap and go from there. Oh, and by the way, the tape didn't hold on my door fell off last night, so hopefully everything's good there. So, as promised, I took my video time and actually multiplied it to get the total time, and it came out to 8 hours of actual film time. Now, of course, there's plenty of time when I turn the camera off because I'm either doing something or thinking, and it's like, well, this is pointless of filming. So I really think it came out to about more like 12 hours. Now, keep in mind, I had a full kit with a lot of add-ons. So for instance, I had, it wasn't a stage 1, stage 2. I had the whole kit come at once. I also had coupe, bike fenders, full engine compartment, sides, hood, the whole thing. But I had air conditioning. I had the LS engine kit package. I had power steering. Any bells and whistles that I could have on this thing, I added onto it. So each one of those came with an extra box, if you will. And what's cool is I made this little map. So what this does is you get all these inventory sheets. So you got that, box 10, and then there's all this list. But you have to go through and find out which boxes stuff in because you got 32 pages of inventory or 34 pages of inventory. What this does is it maps it out for me and says suspension, box 10, air conditioning, box 22 or whatever. And then it also tells me front suspension, it's in the garage. Brake lines, it's in the bedroom. Front grille, I have it stored in the office. So I could find out exactly where something is instantly as quickly as possible and then bust it out, get to there, and then grab the inventory sheet. But instead of going through 32 inventory sheets, I know I'm looking for box 10, and so I go to inventory sheet 10 like that, and then boom, it's happening. So all in all, it's been a great process, and keep in mind, I also did go through basically every single nuts and bolts bag, and I did find a few missing things. So if you're doing one of these kits, I suggest that you go through all the bags. I think there was only 2 bags that I ended up not going through because there was literally like 100 parts inside of them, and I was just like, that's a little crazy. And they're micro parts. If I need something, I go to Ace Hardware or whatever, get it. But when it comes to the big parts and the big nuts and bolts and all the hardened bolts and all that stuff, I made sure I went through every single thing, every washer, every nuance that I could. So that's it for today. Stay tuned until next time for the next topic, and hit the subscribe and notification buttons below, and hope to see you back on the channel.